Property investors are reaching out very regularly asking what should they be buying in 2021? What sort of property type should they buy? For me, there's only one standout choice, and that's residential homes. Why do I love them so much? Well, at the top of the list, it would be the safety around residential homes. They are the safest of the property types. Now, the banks also feel the same. The banks will lend up to 90%. The loan to value ratio up to 90% on residential homes. You won't get that on any other asset class. They'll also very comfortably, like I said, the 80% lending level is probably the most commonly used level when it comes to lending on residential homes, but many of them will now go up to 90% because of their comfort around the safety of residential homes. Most other asset classes, most other property types, shares, etc., 70% or less is the most amount of leverage that you'll be able to get from the banks, and that's all due to safety, the safety profiles of each of those assets. Now, it's not just about the leverage you can get through what money you can get from the banks, which is a very, very important factor. It's also, for me, when it comes down to why do I love property so much, it's the leverage that you create as a result of when a property grows in value, what that does to the funds that you've contributed. Now, if this property, making the numbers nice and easy for myself, if this property was a $500,000 property, of course, if you did use the 90% lending example, the deposit on this particular property would, of course, be $50,000. You'd use a $50,000 deposit, being 10% of the value, to purchase this property in that 90% example. But if this property goes up in value by 10% growth on this property's value. Now, most people won't go running down the street saying, hey, my property just went up by 10%. Well, maybe they will, but the reality is most people take it fairly lightly when they see their investment properties go up by 10%. Now, a change, but I think there's lots of reasons why you shouldn't, why you should be running down the streets being excited. If that property, a $500,000 property, went up 10%, of course the new value on that property would be $550,000. It's no longer a $500,000 property. It's now valued at $550,000. Now, as much as most people will not, maybe not, be overly impressed with that as a result. Now, having said that, the banks are now forecasting comfortably those sorts of growth figures in the near future. Some are forecasting 20% growth in the next 2 or 3 years. So these sorts of figures, whilst they don't have people, like I said, running down the streets with excitement, you should be, because of what it does to your deposit. If you've put in $50,000 and your property goes up by 10%, what that may not be, overly significant what it does to this value. What has it done to the funds that you've contributed? Your $50,000 has just doubled. The money that you've put in has just doubled. You've now got $100,000 worth of equity in that property. It's very hard to save those sorts of funds, but this is why property investors love when little bits of growth happen in their portfolio, what it does to the funds that they're contributed. But we're only just starting to touch on the real exciting stuff. Imagine if you didn't use any funds at all. Imagine if you used equity from another property to finance 100% of the loan, which is what most informed investors do as you duplicate and keep building your portfolio. Of course, if you used a $1 deposit, because you can't calculate using no money at all, if we used a $1 deposit and that property only went up by 10%, what's the return on investment you've now created by adding that extra $50,000? It'll do your head in, let me tell you. It is an unbelievable thing. It's actually 49,999% return on investment. It's a crazy, crazy scenario. When you start using equity to build your portfolio, when you get that momentum rolling, this scenario, 90% lending, the renters paying all of the costs, your tax money paying the rest, the banks giving you the money to do it all, and you sitting back enjoying your lifestyle, which is what I'd be encouraging. And in fact, I'd be improving your lifestyle as the market is today. I'd be having this property pay you. I'd have the loan that you take out, have it pay you money, which is all very possible. This period over the 2020s, we should be building wealth at a staggering rate because of the fundamentals of growing wealth. We've never seen it like this. It's a very exciting time. Now, all of these dynamics, particularly when you take on residential homes, lending, whether it's 80% or more, the growth that you have here, the deposits that you're using and what that reflects to that, and as quickly as possible coming down and not using any money at all, but getting this sort of growth. Please, guys, understand this stuff. It's the basics, but it's worth understanding before you just jump in and start building a portfolio. Now, to help you with these basics, so to help you get the right structure, help you get the core strategies right, I completed a webinar very recently covering, I think it's about 7 core strategies that you really should consider. I put that recording below this video, so please grab your partner, your wife, your investment, significant other, and sit down and absorb the content in that webinar. I think you'd be very excited to see how informed investors see the art of buying property. Property is really just a vehicle to create wealth. And when you get this vehicle rolling, it's amazing how much it can duplicate and how much wealth you can create without putting any pressure on your lifestyle. It's very possible to build wealth for the future and have a great lifestyle today. So make sure you click on the link, learn those strategies, protect yourself from making all the classic mistakes that uninformed investors do when they just jump in and buy and hope. You don't need to do that. This sort of leverage will be life-changing. It's amazing to watch investors discover this for the first time and 5 or 10 years down the track be living totally different lives. Click on the link, watch the video. Thanks for at least absorbing this little bit of content with me. Take care.
Location approved, property approved, safety guarantee. Invest approved, protecting you every step of the way.